Okay, first of all, before I really get into this video, let me make this clear. I'm sure Roger Goodell and Jay-Z are not doing this partnership thing out of the goodness of their hearts or to heal people and stuff. I'm sure both sides are getting something out of it, and I'm sure there's some money involved. Very sure. That being said, I've heard all kinds of opinions jumping all over this. And let me say this. The whole thing, about, oh, Jay-Z, where a couple of years ago, he was behind Colin Kaepernick. And now, they're calling Jay-Z a traitor stuff. First of all, let's start with Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick sued the NFL, if I recall correctly, a while back, and he won. And he's got that deal from Nike. Maybe my math's off, but I think he's making more money now than he ever did in the NFL. I think Kaepernick knows deep down he probably will never play for the NFL again. He doesn't care at this point. So I don't know why some cats are still calling for boycott the NFL. First of all, boycott the NFL did nothing. Because let's be honest, half black folks, well, certainly white folks too, but half of you black folks that's hollering about boycott, most of them were not doing that. Some of them were still, and that's the kills me. Like, I be in the barbershop, they be talking all this pro-black rah-rah stuff, but then they say, hey, you watching the game Sunday? I'm like, wait a minute. If you really down with that, you shouldn't even be talking about the NFL. I thought you was down with the pro-black stuff. Isn't that supposed to be pro-blackish? Just saying. You gonna be down with it, be down with all of it. But also, actually have a plan. Those that say, we need to boycott, shut the NFL down. Well, the NFL, yeah, there's nobody in management that looks like us, but don't you realize it employs most of the people, the players and maybe a few coaches, maybe a couple coaches. Don't you realize that many of them are black? So if you're going to do that, please have a plan in place to replace those jobs. Because many of these dudes are thousandaires, maybe upper six figures. Then you have a few millionaire players and stuff. Please have jobs or something equivalent to replace the income they lose if you shut down the NFL. I would say the majority of the pro-blacks don't have no plan. And furthermore, if you're going to do all the, we don't know where this is going to lead. Now, if in a couple of years it turns out that Jay-Z was just in it for the money, or in it to pad his pockets, yeah, go in on them. But right now, the deal was just announced and the partnership was just announced. It's too early. It is way too early, and we don't know what the details are of the plan. And everybody's just jumping to conclusions. Now, I'm not the biggest Jay-Z fan. I look at him sideways on a lot of things. But on this one, I think people are jumping way too much to conclusions. Though I certainly wouldn't trust Roger Goodell. If anything, everybody keeps bringing up Colin Kaepernick. No, they think you need to be protesting Ray Rice. Because didn't Ray Rice, after he did everything the NFL and the courts required him to do, as far as his domestic violence charge, which, by the way, it happened like that February of 2016. I'm sure some of y'all correct me on the year. It happened that February. They didn't even address it until almost time for the NFL season. And they also leave out the fact that his now wife, Janae Rice, was also arrested that night for domestic violence charges. And both of them was charged, and both of them had to go to counseling and all that. But that's funny. That's funny that since him, several players, both black and white, have come out with charges and allegations that were far worse than what Ray Rice did. Yet many of them still have a job. If anything, he ought to address that. But we don't know if that's Jay-Z's role or what he wants to do. And apparently from the NFL side, the way I see it, they probably begging Jay-Z because Jay-Z, let's be honest, except for the shows with his wife Beyonce, as you see here with Split Screen with Lady Gaga, except for those shows featuring those two women respectively, let's be honest, the NFL halftime Super Bowl shows have sucked. And they get tired. I mean, in the last Super Bowl, both the halftime show and the game, according to a few of my friends that still do peep the NFL, they said both of it sucked. So they probably on their knees begging Jay-Z, like, please save us. Please save us. So yeah, they want to be fighting hard. They want that fighting hard, fighting strong, fighting harder. Man, but seriously though, we need to take a wait and see on this before we start judging. Before we really start judging, man. We really do. And I'm going to wrap this up by simply saying this. Yes, we can protest all the racial injustices, and we should. We could protest the right and wrongs, and we should. But unless you got the money and the power and is willing to step up to work with someone to make change, or if they really aren't that interested in making change, unless you got the money and the power to make a super good alternative that where black players or anybody else doesn't have to go to this other place that can come to you, unless you're gonna come up with that, boycotting the NFL ain't gonna do jack. Because black people they were behind it maybe the first couple months. Then slowly over time, a lot of them slowly started looking at it again. Some of them never got on that bandwagon to begin with. And I'm saying a month I'm just being generous. And now, over the last couple of years, yeah, they took some hits. But what a lot of the pro-wax don't want to tell you is that a lot of those hits, there were other factors. Not just the NFL. Not just the Colin Kaepernick thing. Not just that. There was a whole lot of factors. Some people just stopped watching because it sucked. So, just saying, man, let's wait and see what happens. Don't be trying to jump to conclusions on Jay-Z. I don't know. As I've gotten older, I just learned not to jump to conclusions on a lot of things. I try to find out facts, details, and things. Because when you jump to conclusions, and let's say you turn out to be wrong, you look like a jackass, to put it bluntly. Not to mention, you may find yourself in legal trouble if you print that without facts to back it up, or put that on TV without facts. Anyway, that's all I got to say on this. I'm out.
The rage, I may never change.